Welcome to Dunstan Kiwi Bred, your weekly guide to the New Zealand thoroughbred breeding industry. Coming up over the next half hour, we feature Paxton Park's new sire, Jackalberry. But first, we meet Libby and Sam Bleakley, who've established Hiaden Park in the Manawatu. Libby, you've been involved in the industry for probably as long as you can remember. You started out at Newbury Park as a teenager. Tell us, how did it come about that you got so interested in horses?
To be honest, I was just a horse-mad kid. We didn't grow up on a farm. We grew up down in the Wairarapa in Martinborough. There were horses across the road from home and I would pat them all day long if I could. I used to beg, borrow and steal horses just to be able to ride, to help, to groom. And it was when I was at primary school I rode a horse-mad tail, and it was good enough to go to the principal's office, and he suggested actually that I join him on a trip up to Palmerston North to his friends Jeff and Jan Lynn's. They had Newbury Park at the time. So it was good to go up and have a look around, and that was my first exposure to the actual racing and breeding industry.
So Jeff and Jan Lynn's were your first employers. What was your role at Newbury?
Starting at the bottom, like we all have to. Yep, even though I was living with them in the house, and I was only 11 when I first started going up there as well, but I was put to work the same as everybody else. I used to groom all afternoon, I'd do race days, I'd ferry horses to and from the track. Just learning the ropes and learning off really good people too. They had some wonderful staff back in the day. Gary Barlow was the co-trainer out of the barn, and he's a fantastic horseman, and they had a lot of good senior staff there, and I learnt a lot, yeah, particularly for a young kid that was pretty green and wet behind the ears. I learnt a lot being there.
That really whet your appetite. What were your goals back then for the industry, and how far did you want to go with it? I mean, you then went on to graduate from Massey, didn't you, with an equine degree?
Yes, I did. All I sort of knew, I didn't really have much of a goal or a direction. I just wanted to work with horses, and I wanted to find a way to make it a career, not a hobby. I was just very passionate, and I knew that it was exactly what I wanted to do.
I think it was 2006 you received the scholarship through the Sunline Trust Management. That's thanks to the New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders Association, which took you overseas to some of those amazing studs. Tell us about where you went and what sort of experiences you had.
Just absolutely fantastic, once in a lifetime opportunity. And I flew straight after the Karaka sales in 2006 straight to Cornwall Island. I was based in their walk-in unit over there, and that was my first real glimpse of walking in mares. Their unit goes 24/7 around the clock. Their stallions cover throughout the night as well. It was a great learning experience as far as getting mares ready for service, getting them spot on, because over there those stallions are full and busy and you don't get to go in for reserves. So it was a really good experience. And from there I went to Darley in England. That was a really eye-opener for me, because I went into the office and I learnt about the marketing and client relations side of things. I did horse reports for the Shake and stallion nominations. I'd never had any exposure to that before, so gosh, they treat their clients incredibly well, and I really took some things away from that I use today with our clients, and it's always really well received. People like to feel important, and they like you to ask how their day was, and I think that's a great part of building relationships. From there I went across to Vinery in Kentucky, where I was based in the rehabilitation unit. And in America that's pretty mind-blowing, because they have access to everything you can imagine for their horses, every sort of treatment. It was quite phenomenal. We had a water walker there and a main normal walker as well. The barn was mainly filled of 2-year-old colts as well, so that was new to me again. And we also prepared a draft of yearlings, and in that draft we had a $5.7 million Mr. Greeley colt out of Sylvester Lady, and that was pretty exciting to be part of that. It was Coolmore versus Darley on the colt, and Darley ended up winning, but just a really special occasion, I think, that day at the sales. It was just wonderful. A day that you'll never forget, but I think the scholarship was filled with many of those days, so I'll just forever be grateful to the Thoroughbred Breeders for sending me on that scholarship.
It was 2009 you and your husband Sam set up Hiaden Park. It's a facility that specialises in broodmare care and sales preparation. What prompted you to take the plunge with it?
I think I was never born to work for someone else for the rest of my life. I've always been really ambitious and driven, and the next natural progressive step for myself and my husband Sam was to go out on our own. There were things that I wanted to improve on, but you can only go so far when you're under someone else's reign. So buying a farm and doing things our way, and giving it 120%, and that's all we've ever wanted to do, is just do the best for everybody. It was scary. It's always scary, you just hope that you'll swim and not sink. But we found a need and a hole in the marketplace down here in the Central Districts, and saw an opportunity that needed to be filled. So we were fairly confident, and with our work ethic and with our high standards, we're fairly confident that we would be fine should we take the plunge.
Libby, you're a specialist facility here. What exactly is it that you offer your clients?
We cover most of the bases. We take mares from mating, walkouts in different areas. We also walk into the Waikato now too, that we've got our own truck. We foal mares down. We've got a great reputation for education. We have a lot of horses come in for handling, either post-weaning or before they're heading off to trainers and things like that. Preparing horses for the sales is a big part of what we do. We generally do most of the sales throughout the year. So we have a draft of one description or another in the boxes. Everything except breaking in at this stage, that's a different kettle of fish, and I think we've got enough on our plate at the moment. With all our mares, we fold down about 27 mares every season, and we carry sort of up to about 50 mares through. We tend to keep our numbers down so that each mare gets the right amount of care and attention, and that our farm isn't overgrazed, and because you don't see quite the same results when you're packed to the rafters.
You had a wonderful sales at Karaka this year, with some high praise for the way that you prepared your Perencanto summer nymph colt. The Alamosa colt also made 6 figures. Have those sales results justified your decision to prepare your own yearlings at Karaka?
Preparing yearlings is something that really sparks me up and gets me enthusiastic. I really enjoy it. I love the whole education side of yearlings as well. We have wonderful feedback when our yearlings go on to trainers. They're just so affable and easy to handle. The Perencanto colt was a great result, because the owner of that, Alistair Murdoch, was our very first client on the farm and has been with us since that very first day we opened the gates. So to get a result like that for him was just, that's why I get up in the morning. And the Alamosa colt, owned by Greg Tomlinson of Niako, so once again a very loyal client, and there's nothing I want more than to do my very best for them, and to get sales results like that is fantastic.
What's the business plan going forward, Libby? Are you looking at ways to develop Hiaden Park?
Absolutely. We are currently looking for a second farm to boost our grazing space. Farms are always a work in progress as well. We're currently looking at putting in more boxes, a yard, our big yard out there is getting a roof put over it shortly. There's just always things that you can look to do to improve your business. Personally as well, I'm also looking to improve myself, because with that, the business will grow. So there's a couple of scholarships that I'm looking at potentially this year that will help me sort of to travel and learn off some of the best in the business. So when those opportunities present themselves, you really need to take them, because you're always got to keep striving for the best and to do the best for everybody.
You are the face of the business, you're the driving force behind it. What advice would you give to anyone thinking about getting started in the industry?
Work hard. There's no magic pill to get you to the top, and the harder you work, the further you'll go. And I think it's really important that people need to be made aware that this can be a career. It's not just a hobby, it's not just a 9-to-5 sort of a job. You can actually make your own way in this industry quite happily. I'm currently sort of trying to bridge the gap between students and the workforce as well. I'm working with a couple of polytechnics and colleges to sort of bridge that gap a little bit, and to try and make it easier for students coming out of school to slip into jobs like this and make it a forever job and a career. Yeah, because I'm a big one for getting the young people involved, and I think we certainly need it in this industry, is to get the young people on board with us.